Hey there, Shauna from Skip Blast here, back with another one of my Ezoic income report updates. This month we're going to look at February, let you know how each of the sites did with Ezoic as well as other income, kind of let you know what I did on each of the sites so we can see is what I'm doing working or not. All right, let's get started. And just a quick reminder for you, maybe if you don't remember or if this is your first time seeing one of these updates, these sites are only the sites that I have on Ezoic. So they are basically not my entire portfolio. They are just a set of smaller sites, mostly that have been neglected, that I am working on here in 2023 to kind of boost the revenue and traffic of these so that I can eventually flip them. All right, let's look at the first site. Okay, first up we have site number 1. It's in the food and drink niche. Now, if you remember last month, I was having a little trouble with the site because I had actually changed the domain to something a little more brandable. And I was having trouble, basically getting the Ezoic ads to kind of populate on that new domain. Basically, I totally messed up moving the site to the new domain in terms of Ezoic monetization. The earnings and the EPMV weren't great in January. Back then, I had 342 for the EPMV, and now in February, we've seen quite a substantial increase, $7.62 for that EPMV. So I'm pretty excited to see that. Overall total income did go down slightly. I'm not surprised. I think this is still related to me changing that domain name because I'm having some indexing issues now. I didn't have this on the previous domain, but I am having it on the new domain. So I added some new content to this, this fresh domain this month. What I did was I took what I'd found the previous month from Big Data Analytics. I did some content that I'd found based on that strategy. Basically targeting the things that pay me the most money. I've also been testing out Niche IQ, which is a free tool that Ezoic offers to kind of give you suggestions based on, what you already or have on your site, what it thinks you can rank for. So I did kind of a mixture of content like that. And like I said, I've been having crazy indexing issues. So I was having to use Search Console to manually index every single post that I created. I'm hoping that's going to stop for March, but I haven't really noticed yet. Another thing that I did, and I didn't do this till towards the end of February, is I'm testing Humix on this site. If you don't know, Humix is something that Ezoic offers. Basically, it's where you can upload videos that will basically display on your site as ads, earn a little more money. You can also have the videos that you upload, display on other Ezoic users' sites, so you can kind of make a revenue share from that way as well. So for this particular site, I haven't actually created any videos yet. Like I said, I started this very late in February. And as you'll see, I'm testing Humix on another one of my sites as well. And kind of what I want to see is how much money can you make from Humix if you don't actually upload videos and you're only showing other people's. So that's kind of what I'm going to be testing out with this particular site for March. Okay, site number 2 is in the religion and spirituality niche. Now for February, I was actually surprised to see that the EPMV dropped a little. I haven't really dug into analytics yet to see why that might be. I suspect what has happened though is basically the top post probably had a little bit of a shakeup. So, what was bringing in the bulk of the money in January probably was not what was bringing in the bulk of the money in February. Like I said, I haven't actually confirmed that, but typically that's what I see is going on when something like this happens. So overall total income, $8.87 for this site. Not surprised that it's so low, but again, that's something I'm really hoping to ramp up as the year goes on. If you do recall from the previous update, this is a site where I'm testing creating content, with Jasper or ChatGPT, Copy AI, any tool like that. Kind of doing that, running it through Quillbot, then doing some light human editing, throwing it up on the site, seeing what happens. Overall, this has only taken me about 15 minutes per article. It still seems to be doing really well, and I have a healthy mix of this type of content as well as content that's written by a subject matter expert as my top 10 posts for the month. So I'm going to be really interested to see as the year goes on, is the AI assisted content going to overtake the content that I've paid for that was created by a subject matter expert? So that's just one of the experiments that I'm running on this site right now. This site is actually the other site that I'm going to be testing Humix on. But unlike site number 1, I'm actually uploading videos to Humix to kind of see what the difference is in the revenue. Even though these are in different niches, I still think I'll get some pretty interesting data. And I've also decided to start a YouTube channel for this site so that I can kind of compare YouTube against Humix to kind of see which one is more beneficial for your site. And again, these are things that I just got started on at the end of February, so I'm not going to have much data on this until the next update. Okay, next up, site number 3. This is my second site on Ezoic that is in the food and drink niche. This one actually, just like the other site that we just talked about, it experienced a surprising drop in its EPMB from January to February. Again, I assume the same thing is going on, which is just like a shakeup in, which posts are bringing in the most money for the month. Again, I'm not too concerned about it because I actually haven't done a lot of work on this site just yet. I'm intending to focus on more affiliate content because right now it's almost completely informational content. Overall income for the month was $17.10. Again, it's not really something I'm worried about right now because I think we're going to really start seeing this ramp up as we get further into the year. One thing I did do on this site, in addition to add more content in February, was that I made the switch from AAWP to Lasso. I recently did a video on comparing which Amazon affiliate plugin kind of brought in the most revenue for me. And my conclusion was that Lasso was the winner there. If you missed that video, I'll drop a link in the description below. Might be eye-opening for you if you're trying to see which one of these plugins can I earn the most money from. And now that I've got Lasso on the site, that's really going to help me get into that groove of creating more affiliate content for the site so that we can really start seeing the revenue start going up. Okay, site number 4, this is my tech/gaming site. If you recall from a previous update, this site started out more pure video game focused. Then I started testing out some more tech-related content in an attempt to raise the EPMB. That seemed to go well, so then last month I did all kinds of research in big data analytics to basically nail down what type of tech content makes me the most money, right? So for February, that's the only type of content that I put up on this site. As you can see in the change in EPMB, this is already starting to benefit this site. So we went up from 228 for the EPMB in January to 265 in February. Obviously, that's still way lower than I want any of my sites to be. So I'm really excited to see basically how high I can get this throughout the year. And like I said, all the content that I added, it was based on my research using big data analytics, which I discussed in the previous video. It was all informational type of content. And here's the interesting thing here with this site. I haven't actually added any new content to it since September of 2022. So this was basically the first fresh content that has gotten since then. So we may see the freshness factor kick in here and see this site really start to take off soon. I really don't know if that'll happen or not, but I'm excited to see. Okay, site number 5. This one is in the outdoors niche. In January, it had an EPMV of $6.33. So I was glad to see that for February, it did increase to $6.84. Of course, I'd always like to see a larger increase, but can't complain about it going in the right direction. Overall income for the site is $13.74. This site's super interesting because when I launched it, I put just over 200 articles on it covering, all different types of topics that would fall under the outdoors category. Just so I could kind of see what does Google want to rank this site for? I mean, obviously the answer so far is not much, right? But I'm really hoping that I can get in the groove with this site since it has all of this content on it, kind of as Google gets more familiar with it. For February, what I did was I used Niche IQ. I used their suggestions to kind of come up with ideas for new content for the site. Ended up being a mix of affiliate and informational content, even though I had intended to focus more on affiliate. So I'm really excited to see how that works out. If I start to see that using Niche IQ is basically benefiting the sites that I'm testing it on, then I'm going to start implementing that across all of my sites. And so yeah, that's really all that there is to say about these sites. Overall, the total income just from Ezoic for these 5 sites was $68.87. That's not the kind of money that's going to have you leaving your job anytime soon, right? But these sites are something that, they're the smallest sites in my portfolio, something I just kind of work on the side. But I think it really shows you what you can accomplish, if you do have a day job and you only have a limited amount of time to work on small sites like this. And hopefully, like I said, as we go throughout the year, you'll see these numbers start to grow more and more and more. All in though, between, affiliate and ads, was looking at $143.45 for February. And don't forget, February is the shortest month of the year, so, when we're back to a typical 31 day month, that income is going to be a little higher. Overall, across the board, though, was happy to see the EPMB did increase, month over month. That is the way it should be going for us, right? And every single site in this update got fresh content for the month. And like I said, for that tech/gaming site, that was the first fresh content that it had gotten since September of last year. So that just kind of goes to show you like how low priority every site in this report has been for me in the past year or so. And like I said, I had some indexing issues with a couple of these sites. To overcome that, basically all I did was basically force index it in Search Console. So, nothing revolutionary there. I also ended up adding humics just at the very tail end of the month to site number 1 and site number 2 to test those out. And I've started a YouTube channel for site number 2 just so that I can compare the difference between YouTube and humics. I think what we're going to see with that is humics is going to be better for that initial income boost because, it takes a while to get monetized on YouTube. But I'm curious to see because I suspect in the long run, YouTube's going to be better. But, it's one of those things where you don't really know till you try, right? So that's why I'm testing that out. And that's really all I have to tell you about these sites. Not a lot going on with them right now. Hopefully, as we get more into the year, we'll have a little more meat here to talk about with these sites. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out on the next update next month, go ahead and subscribe to the channel below so that you get notified.